My First Two Loves, Chapter 96, Bittersweet. After making my final choice, I knew that I'd have to break the news to the others, eventually. I never thought that it would be so soon. Mason. He rose from a seat on the steps, looking hollow in the moonlight. Hi, Emma, can we talk? Of course. I moved to unlock the door, but Mason held up his hands. Actually, I'm fine out here. Don't be silly, we can sit in the living room. And he rested his hands on mine as they wrestled to find the right key, and finally I met his eyes. Emma, I don't want to go in, because I can't have this conversation on the same couch we've watched Die Hard every Christmas, with the same kitchen table where we did our homework together all the way through middle school. Our love story started behind those walls, and I don't want it to end there. Oh. And as the silence stretched between us for the first time in as long as I could remember, I couldn't think of a single thing to say to Mason. Luckily, he came prepared. I never saw you at the airport. Is that because I chose someone else? Mason nodded, but once the words were out, his shoulders slumped, like it had taken all of his energy just to raise the subject. I summoned an equal amount of strength to answer it. It was time I made a decision. I owed all of you an answer, and making you wait even this long wasn't fair. Do you think you can ever forgive me? With a bit of effort, Mason shot me a sad smile, nudging me with his shoulder. Do you even have to ask? At the end of the day, all I've ever wanted is for you to be happy, so... Are you? Not right now. Well, that makes two of us. He settled down on the steps and I joined him, our knees knocking against each other like they did when we were kids. Mason... Thank you. I know it wasn't easy giving me the space to figure things out. I could have pushed back more, and hell, maybe I should have. But that's not what your heart wanted. And I care about you too much to ask to do anything else. If it helps at all, I care about you too. Mason, I've loved you my whole life. You were the only person I thought of every day for as long as I can remember. I loved you for so long, I don't think I realized it was even possible to move on until it happened. So, I just waited too long. If I had said something sooner, don't torture yourself with what ifs. You don't deserve that. I just thought we were meant to be together, you know? After everything we went through, it just seemed like fate. Mason, that's a lot of pressure. How can any relationship survive under that kind of expectation? Because it's meant to be together, we find a way to make it work. Even people destined to be together have to put the work in. We tried, Mason. We did. No, we didn't, but okay, moving on. Yeah, but I never thought that I'd walk away from all this without you by my side. If I could go back and stop you from feeling what you're feeling now, I would. I wouldn't. He let that sink in. I wasn't sure if it made me feel more guilty or released from the burden of hurting him. I loved you so much it was as one person can love another, wholeheartedly, completely, and without conditions. And I don't regret a second of it. Nathan climbed to his feet and started to slow trek across the grass to the next door, his footsteps squelching in the mud. Good luck, Emma. Keep following your heart. As the sound got fainter, I realized there was still one loose thread to sew up. With graduation so close, I'd already gotten Ava, Mason, and Noah gifts to mark the occasion. I'd meant to give them after we'd crossed the stage, but given the circumstances, there was no time like the present, and giving one last thing to remember me by could help take the sting out. Before I could chicken out, I pulled the gift from its hiding place. Wait! Mason... Let's not leave it like this. Life is random, unfair, and I couldn't stand it if something were to happen, and you were upset with me. Mason eyed the gift in my hands, his gaze uncertain. I have no idea what you could be giving me right now. Open it and see. Here. I handed him the package, and he slipped a finger under the tape, peeling the paper off to neatly reveal antique compass, so you always know the way back. We've been through a lot together, but you're about to go to the Naval Academy, so that's exciting. I just thought you'd like something to always keep you on the right track. He turned the compass over in his hands as he studied its face, and then smiled. What's the matter? I'm afraid I'd be lost without you? You are so cheesy, and well, hopefully you won't be without me. That was kind of the point. I want you to chart your own course, but I'm hoping one day we'll still be close enough to tell each other all the stuff we missed. The ghost of a smile played on his lips, and he nodded. I've never wanted anything more. But as Mason looked back at the compass, the smile faded. But it just might take time. I want our friendship to come out of this stronger too, believe me. But just thinking of life without you in it sounds awful. But I don't know how to stop looking at you, seeing what could have been. I reached forward and carefully put a hand on Mason's shoulder. Well, I was in your shoes once. Only thinking of you for years, not knowing how to move on. How did you do it? I became my own person. We were always together, through thick and thin. But once I spent more time by myself, the more I realized what I really wanted. Do you think I kept you from being who you wanted to be? Not at all. But we discovered new things about ourselves when we do new things by ourselves. I think that's what happened. Mason averted his gaze as he mulled this over, and I fidgeted. This had to work, because if it didn't, I don't know where to start. It all sounds so much easier said than done. Oh, it is, believe me. Trying to get over you sucked, and we know I didn't really manage it for a while, but I did it. I'd do it again 100 times if it meant keeping you in my life. The words were followed by a big sigh, and Mason ran his thumb over the face of the compass. But what if I try to stay in your life, but can't stop feeling this way? I don't want to promise you something only for us to drift apart later. I think we can grow as people and still support each other, and if that means you need time apart to get there, I'll support you. I'm not trying to force you to get over heartbreak this minute, but I want you to know that you matter to me, that I don't want to lose you as a friend, and I'm willing to do what I can to help you be your best self again. Well, when you put it like that, we looked at each other and couldn't help but our large, growing grins. For the first time in months, something felt normal. We're not doing too bad so far, are we? No, I'd say we're doing pretty good. Thank you, Emma, for trying. I'll try too. I know you will. You always do. The next morning over breakfast, I told Mac all about my date and what happened after. Ouch, that sounds rough. Yeah, easily the hardest conversation I've had. Yet, you mean? You've got round 2 somewhere in the near future. No, I can't. I can't go through that again, not yet. Better to rip off the bandage now than leave it hanging over your head for the next few weeks. But you do you. She was right. Of course, I had to finish it that day, because if I waited any longer, well, I wasn't sure I'd have the strength. I knocked on Ava's door a little after noon, and as she ushered me inside, I wasn't even sure if I was breathing. The moment I'd seen her at the door, I wondered how I was going to tell her. Emma, so I guess you picked one of the boys, huh? Ava, it's not like that. She crossed her arms, her expression stony, but behind the bravado, I could see the puffiness in her eyes. Then what is it like, Emma? Because I'm really racking my brain here. Well, you expected us to finally grow up, so she finally went and grew up. And that part of this that sucks the most is that after all this, I'm still blaming myself. Like, maybe if I had said how I felt sooner, things would be different, and I wouldn't feel so weak right now. Ava, you aren't anything but weak. You're one of the strongest people I know, and I'm sorry that this even put the idea in your head that you're not. I don't know how I could think anything else when, at the end of the day, I feel a little played. Like you never really gave me a fair shot. Oh, no, you can blame the writers for that, but they forced you on us. That wasn't a game to me, Ava. Then why does it still feel like I lost? She looked away and swiped at her face. Desperate to hide the fresh tears brimming in her eyes, she crossed arms, turning to hug her body. This hurts, Emma, and I don't know what to think anymore. Without a second thought, I pulled her into a hug. She didn't return it, but she didn't push me away either. You are fearless. You claim every part of yourself with unrelenting confidence, and you aspire everyone around you to do the same. When I was with you, there was no mountain I couldn't move, no ocean I couldn't swim, no barrier I couldn't break. Our relationship gave me a gift I can't ever repay. You gave me permission to be me, unapologetically. Ava released a sigh, buried her face in my shoulder. A second later came a muffled, "Then what happened?" Ava... I just think we were better as friends. I'm not always gonna be by your side. I'm always gonna be there, but just not as a partner. I don't know if I'm ready to make nice right now. I understand, but the offer's there. I don't want this to end our relationship. Ava let out a long, heavy sigh before finally returning the hug, and when she pulled back, her eyes were clear and dry. You know, this hurts, but for what it's worth, I don't regret loving you, Emma Price. I wish the circumstances were different. I wish we just had time to explore everything for ourselves, but you are the one thing I'd never change. Ava walked me to the door. The air was thick with everything we'd left unsaid. As I turned to go, I hesitated. The other gift I'd gotten was practically burning a hole in my backpack. But was this the right time to pay diamonds? I had to at least try. In a flash, I pulled the gift from its hiding place. Ava, you deserve nothing but happiness, because you're an incredible person and an even better friend, and if you choose not to talk to me after this, I need you to hear me say it, because every word is true. Ava gave the package a suspicious look, but her hand inched towards it. If you're gonna give me a self-help book about dumping me, I will never forgive you. It's definitely not that. See for yourself. I passed the package over, my heart thumping. She arched an eyebrow before ripping away the paper to reveal... For the studio. Are these ballet shoes? We've been through a lot together, but you're about to open your own studio. Be your own boss. I just wanted you to have something new. Your first dance on the floor should be special. We stared at each other for what felt like eons before she broke into a smile. God, only you would come up with something this cheesy and thoughtful at the same time. She released a heavy sigh, her shoulders slumped with the weight of the world. I'm sorry if I came on a little strong earlier. I was just so sad, and I thought it was easier to bottle it all up and just lash out, only for me to end up crying all over you again anyway. Her head dipped down and I frowned, looking her over. It's an emotional situation, and whether we're together or not, I'm always gonna be your shoulder to cry on. You don't ever have to bottle it up with me. It's just so unfair. I finally found someone who made me understand what all the fuss about love was about, and in the end it didn't even matter. Because maybe it wasn't meant to be. Ava, it did matter, never question that. Even if it didn't end the way you'd hoped. What we had mattered. You weren't just a fling or an experiment. I cared about you in ways I didn't know I could. And even though it's not romantic anymore, I still care, and I always will. Ava's eyes welled up, and she swiped them away again. I was supposed to be done crying, you know. I smiled, and just as I was about to say more, Ava took a quick breath and let it out. I guess maybe our paths this year weren't so different. I dated around to figure out who I loved, and so did you. But this sucks. I get it. And if you want space from me... And that's the part that sucks. I don't want you to go. Despite everything that happened this year, the longing, rejection, and pain, I don't want us to stop talking. I don't want to lose you as a friend, but the way I feel, I'm not sure if that's even an option. Well, sometimes feelings are confusing. I want you around, but I don't. What's confusing about that? You know what? That's so clear. I don't know how I misunderstood. The two of you giggled, but when the laughter died down, the room was silent. Ava sighed and shuffled her feet as I noted the return of her nervous energy. I knew something would have to give out between us if our friendship was going to survive, so I decided it should be me. So maybe it's best if this was a goodbye for a while. It is. Until brunch next weekend. Wait, really? Look, I know things aren't going to be the same. We crossed a line that's going to be hard to walk back, but I can't do the studio without you in my corner. So at brunch, I'll show you what I'm thinking of teaching the younger kids, and we'll go from there. I beamed wide, and for the first time, I felt hopeful we could get out of this funk. Yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to. Good. I've got a lot of work to do, so it'd be good to have a friend to help keep me sane. You can count on me. Later, I walked into the kitchen as Dad and Mac made dinner and slumped into one of the dining chairs, pressed my face against the cool wood tabletop. So how did it go? Let's just say for my next breakup, I call dibs on being the dumpy. That good, huh? I just groaned in return, and he sat down next to me, one hand rubbing my back. Well, I'm proud of you. You followed your heart, and it wasn't easy, but you were honest about your feelings. Now the real work begins. Also, you were a grown-up. There's more? Relationships don't take care of themselves. Have you even talked to Noah today? I took the hint and whipped out my phone, but before I could even start typing, in came 2 messages. Speak of the devil. Just got my suit, so it's official. Prom is gonna be sick. Thanks for choosing me. For all the heartbreak and pain, I was finally with the one I loved. And the only thing left now was the most magical night of our senior year. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description below, links to our social media pages, links to Discord, and a few links to support yours truly with this channel. So without further ado, yay! We're finally over after nearly 100 chapters of who we might or might not love. Finally, we were forced, not really forced, willing to tell who we loved. Like, really. Like, the title of this book is 1, so misleading, and 2, so stupid. The fact that this went on for 95 plus chapters astounds me. If the writers that handled this did Freshman, sweet mother of God, we'd still be on Freshman. But if we flip that and the Freshman writers did this book would have been over by chapter 12, maybe 20. We would have never had a book 2. That shows you writer's integrity, as well as just how to write. But I digress. Thank you all for watching. Catch you all next time. Peace out.